And especially the dish from today, it is only preserved by the history and the traditionally of the family from my wife. My wife eat this dish as child and I never heard about this. And without this YouTube channel and this rich harvest of pears, maybe I never heard about this. Only because this both came together, my wife taught me about this dish. And I can't read this dish to you like I do it normally in these videos, because there's written down only the ingredients, and then there was an oral presentation how to mix the ingredients together and how to bake them. And because of this, we go through the whole recipe together and I show you step by step what it's to do to make this dish. And before we start, is the question, what is this dish and where it come from? And the dish is a pear pudding with bacon. And the tradition came from Bremen and from North Germany. And today it is very uncommon to eat something salty and sweet together and make it to one dish. But back then, 200, 300 years ago, it was very typical for the Northern German kitchen to make something like this pudding we do today. And why I have decided to make this dish is because the city where it comes from, Bremen. Bremen is a very important city in the history of America and Germany, because the most people there going to America go to two ports. The bigger port is in Bremen, the smaller one is a little bit far away from this, but this Bremen port was the port where the most settlers go through. And maybe many of them, when they was waiting for the ship or work for a little bit more money to pay the ship owner to go over to America, was in Bremen, and there maybe get contact to this dish and maybe bring this dish in some ways also to America. Because of this, is a special interesting for me to make this dish today. I am so excited to bring the 18th century taste back to life. It was very important for this dish. You need a sauce for this dish too. And I will do the sauce like the historical way they have done this, in the same way immediately after the dish, that you can make the sauce too. In the first step I show you all the ingredients, but the exact amount of this ingredient I write it down below this video, because I need to calculate it for the American amount, how much we need. As first we need flour and eggs. Today I need only one egg for the smaller amount what I do. Butter, sugar. I have inside in the sugar a little bit salt, like half spoonful of salt. There's a little bit salt inside. And if you have vanilla sugar, you can add also a little bit vanilla sugar in this sugar here too. How there was vanilla sugar made back then, I showed this in this video, also how you can make it at home. It will come by the sauce, and then we need a little bit milk and bacon, and then baking powder. You use baking powder. I don't use it because in the 18th century there was another method to make this fluffy dough, and this is two ingredients here. How I mix this and what I do with them, I show you, but instead use baking powder. It is easier, and finished product is also a lot better than what I do here. But I want to bring the 18th century taste back, and this is why I use this. Let's start with all the work. In the first step we do the butter, milk, sugar, salt, and if you have vanilla sugar, and the egg in one big bowl, and then we need to beat them a long time until there is a lot of air inside the milk and the egg. It's very important to have later the fluffy dough, and be very patient with this. I am also very patient with this, and very important to be to have the time to do this, and more important if you don't use baking powder like I do today, but if you do this, it makes the whole pudding later more soft, more creamy. This was a really hard work, and you can learn something from me. I have used cold butter, but I think it's better to have butter that is already on temperature like the room temperature, and then it will be, I think, a little bit easier to beat everything together. For the next time. I know it now, and you can do it immediately right, and don't use the same cold butter like I have used. It makes it a little bit harder to mix everything together. Now I make my own baking powder for this recipe. You use modern baking powder, but I will do this historical correct. And this is how I do this. I have here ash for my fire. It's my own ash. I know which wood was in, and there's no plastic, etc. Inside is really natural ash. But I need to go through the sieve, because there's a lot of part inside. This is not ash, and I don't want to have them in my food. And I have here now the ash, just a little bit, and then I have here baker's ammonia. This came from, I think it's called English deer, and the producers out of them, they use and bake them too. And I use some of them, an equal amount like the ash. I hope altogether it's like maybe 3 to 5 grams. And then I mix it. And now I have my own historical baking powder, what I will use today for this meal. And we'll put this in the dough now. I have changed my whisk. The big whisk was too much, and I haven't controlled, mixed all together. Because of this, I changed to a smaller whisk. It's a good thing if I have more than one whisk, I can change. And now we can go to the next step to put this in the right form where we can bake it. I have this historical dish, and I am so happy and proud of this. This is really the age like 200 years ago, but I have here a problem. You see this here, they have a little mark. This is because it's so old, but we will want to use this today. And important is to prepare a dish that nothing bake in. But today we don't need to do this, because that nothing bake in is to make fat inside. And we have bacon, and this is what we do. We lay bacon around this. This is nothing, the dough nothing touch this form. I have already put the dough in the dish, and now I take my pear and peel them. I have prepared already one, you see them there, and maybe one is enough, maybe I need 2, but I want to prepare, and if a little bit left over, I can eat them. And now we peel off the pear, and then we quarter the pear. No. We quarter them and take out the stones. We don't need the stones. And we have a visitor. The first yellow jacket is coming. Now we have our pear finished, and now I do them around the dough in the cake. What I don't tell you on the beginning, you see all my stuff from this cooking now. In the beginning I have put my Dutch oven on the fire to start cooking water. And now it's finished. I will place them on this place and make coals under and on top of this Dutch oven when the pudding is inside, because I need this space for the vanilla sauce that we will do now. And now I can take it over like here. Now I put coals under and on top, and the pudding come inside. And because the pudding, it need to be more cooked, and it will be cooked because this is hot water. And the important is the water reach 2/3 of this pudding, and not too high that it can't go inside when it's bubbling by cooking. Now I push this a little bit in like this and put my pudding in the Dutch oven. And before I forgot it, it will cook around 1.5 hours in the Dutch oven. The recipe today came from Bremen. This is a port in the north of Germany, a very important port for trade. It's a very easy reason. If you have a big port, it is easier to trade and get some luxury and special stuff. And the vanilla needs to import it in the 18th century till today, but it was very expensive and special, and it was easier to get them for the normal citizen, not the farmer, to get them in the big cities. And sometimes you get them also a little bit cheaper if there came a lot of vanilla. And the price of vanilla was very different from time to time, and this is why I can't say how much exactly they cost, because we have not this specific year where we do this recipe now. And this is why I choose a northern recipe. And what's also happened with vanilla, the vanilla was so famous that tried to plant them and produce them in Europe, especially in London and Paris, in the big botanical gardens. I don't find anything that they have luck in its function. And because of this, they need to import this, and it's a really special and expensive spice. But let's go to the vanilla sauce. For the first step, I have here 1 pint of milk and the vanilla bean, and then we cut them at half and take out the inner mark and put them in the milk with the whole vanilla. Now I put the vanilla sauce on the fire. It is important to heat them very slow and twist them the whole time. And when they start to cooking, immediately I take them off and let them cool down for 5 minutes, and then we see us again. In the time where my vanilla milk is cooling down, I take 3 eggs and put the egg yolk in 1 big bowl, and the white I can throw them away or use them anywhere else, and take 3 spoonfuls of sugar. Put them all together and beat them with a whisk that there's a lot of air inside. It's important for the next step. And now it's my milk cooling down. Just 5 minutes is enough. Then I can take out the vanilla. Here I have my vanilla stick. And what I can do is to wash them and dry them. And when they are dried, I can reuse them. Just put them in the sugar and leave them in the sugar. And this is how I make my own vanilla sugar for the next time when I use vanilla sugar for a recipe. And now I can do my next step. I take just a little bit of this milk, but only a little bit, and make them to my egg. It's important not too much, that it can be mixed and warm up the milk and the sugar. And I do this step by step, every time a little bit milk inside and warm up step by step with the milk. In the next step, I put the milk and the eggs again in the pot and set them on the fire again. And under stirring, I will thick them up a little bit. But I don't want to cook the milk. It's important not to cook them, or the egg will go hard, and I don't want to use it hard, and then it will be a thick vanilla sauce. What I show you in the moment is I have taken the sauce from the fire because they're starting to get too hot. You see this little points here? This is when it goes too hot. I don't want to do this, but I have reached a too hot temperature. It can happen. Because of this, I take it out and stir it a little bit outside of the fire, and then I put them back. It is easier to do this if the pot is in the water, and then I can control it easier, but in the moment I have no choice to make the sauce in a water bath. This is why I go on the fire, off of the fire, until I have my thickness of the sauce that I want to reach. When the vanilla sauce starts to thicken up, then is the right time to get them off the fire and let it cool a little bit down, and then put them in the pot to bring them to the table for the dish. This dish looks so beautiful, I don't want to destroy it, but I need to do it. I try to take a little bit of fruit, cake, bacon and vanilla sauce, and then try it. Wow! Wow! I am surprised. It's so delicious. And with this dish, I think I get a new chance or interesting to eat dishes. They are sweet and salty together. It's really, really something special. I can recommend it. Do it at home. Try it out, and you will taste a complete different taste what you know, and you can travel back in the 18th century. I can recommend it. Try it out. It is a really good dish. And if you want to go deeper in the 18th century, maybe watch this video. There's another video where you can go a little bit deeper in the history. See you soon.